She said I was just too nice for her. So I quietly removed myself from her world without another word. And when the day finally came that she realized what she'd lost and tried to reach out, all I gave her was silence. My name is Jake. I'm 29 years old, living just outside of Denver, working as a systems analyst. I've always been the steady kind. Maybe a little quiet, maybe a bit too thoughtful for some, but always present. I'm the type who remembers small details, who listens without interrupting, who opens doors and leaves notes just to brighten someone's day. I believed in consistency, in kindness, in showing up for the people you care about. I thought those things meant something, and for a while with Rachel they seemed to. We met one warm summer evening at a rooftop bar through mutual friends. She was a force, confident, witty, vibrant, the kind who turned heads and owned every room she walked into. I didn't think I was her type, not even close, but somehow my quiet presence caught her attention. Maybe it was the way I listened when she spoke, or the fact that I didn't compete for her spotlight. Either way, she gave me her number, and that's how it all started. In the beginning, everything felt easy, natural. We'd spend weekends exploring mountain roads on long drives, followed by slow, cozy Sundays making pancakes in our pajamas and watching true crime documentaries on the couch. I'd drop off coffee when she worked late, leave little notes on her mirror or fridge before heading home. Small gestures that made her smile and say things like, "You're just so good to me, Jake." I thought that was a compliment, that my efforts were seen, appreciated. But somewhere along the way, that so good became something else entirely. A few months in, I noticed her replies slowing down, her energy shifting. She didn't seem as interested in making plans. Conversations felt hollow, like she was somewhere else mentally even when she sat right beside me. And then came the night at dinner, the one that shifted everything. We were sitting across from each other at a quiet little place we used to love. I was trying to engage, but she was glued to her phone. Eventually, I asked if something was wrong. She looked up, sighed like she'd been holding it in, and said the words I never thought I'd hear. "Jake, you're just too nice. That's all." I let out a light laugh, thinking she was joking, but she wasn't. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're great. Honestly, you do everything right. But sometimes I feel like I need, I don't know, more edge, more challenge." I sat there frozen, trying to understand how the very things she once claimed to love about me had somehow become a problem. I'd heard stories like this, guys joking about how women say they want a nice guy, but go for the one who treats them like crap. I never thought I'd live it. After that night, something in me changed. I began questioning myself. Was being kind a weakness? Was respect now considered boring? Over the next few weeks, I tried to shake it off. Tell myself she was just stressed or confused. People say things they don't mean sometimes, right? But the distance grew. And then came the mentions of her coworker, Travis. Loud, cocky. The kind of guy who probably sends you up texts at 2 a.m. and thinks remembering a dog's name is too much effort. She'd light up talking about him. I wasn't jealous exactly, just confused, maybe a little heartbroken. I started to feel like I had to apologize for being a good partner. That's when I made a choice. If being nice made me disposable, then maybe it was time I stopped making myself so available. I wouldn't become bitter or cruel. That's not who I am. But I would start focusing on myself. I hit the gym harder, took up boxing, learned to say no without feeling guilty. If I didn't feel like going out, I didn't force myself to go. I didn't chase anymore. If she texted, cool. If not, I went on living my life. The shift was subtle, but it was there. And she noticed. One night, she texted, "You've been different lately." I replied, "Yeah, just focusing on myself more."
No emojis. No over-explaining.
She took 4 hours to respond with a simple, "Okay, I see you." I didn't know what that meant at the time, but it would become clear soon enough. Things didn't end with a dramatic fight or emotional confrontation. It was quieter than that, more honest. After I pulled back, Rachel didn't immediately chase after me. She still sent memes sometimes, still reacted to my stories, but the energy shifted. It was like she could feel I was no longer orbiting her. I was finally grounded in my own gravity. When she'd text last minute to hang out, I'd say no if I had plans. I stopped rearranging my life for her. If she canceled, I didn't ask why. I just hung out with friends or stayed home. It wasn't coldness. It was boundaries. For the first time, I was choosing myself. Funny enough, the more distance I put between us, the more interested she became. A few weeks later, she called me out of the blue on a Wednesday night. "Hey, what are you up to?" I was sitting on the couch in sweats, brushing my dog, feeling more at peace than I had in months. "Just relaxing. Long day." "Why?" She paused. "No reason. Just haven't seen you much lately." "Yeah, been busy." Silence. Then, "Busy with anyone in particular?" There it was. That tinge of jealousy she'd never shown before. It almost made me smile. Not because I wanted to hurt her, but because I could finally feel the power dynamic evening out. We talked for an hour. She asked about boxing, about work, said she liked the new confidence in me. "It's hot," she said. I thanked her, then ended the call when the conversation started to fade. Before, I would have stayed on just to hear her voice. Now, I valued my own time. A week later, she invited me over for dinner. Said she wanted to cook, to reconnect. I almost declined, but curiosity won. The evening felt like a replica of the past, but different. She lit candles, wore something simple but thoughtful, poured me wine like it was a first date. At one point, she looked at me and said, "You've changed." I nodded. "Yeah, I had to." She smiled, almost sadly. "I like it." Then she whispered something that stayed with me. "I didn't mean it when I said you were too nice. I just didn't know how to handle someone actually treating me right." I think I was scared. That hit me hard. Because it wasn't just about me being too nice. It was about her feeling like she didn't deserve that kind of love. We slept together that night. I won't lie, it was intense, passionate, like all the tension finally broke. But the next morning, I didn't feel what I thought I would. There was no euphoric high, just clarity. I didn't want to go back to being the guy who bent over backward to keep someone interested. And if I was honest with myself, I wasn't even sure I wanted her anymore. I kissed her cheek, thanked her for dinner, and left before she could start making weekend plans. The morning after felt odd. Not in a bad way, but in that quiet, empty kind of way where you know something has shifted. I sat in my car, watching the sun rise over the Denver skyline, and I didn't feel sad. I felt free. That's when I knew it wasn't a reunion. It was closure. Maybe her final attempt to pull me back in. But I wasn't the same guy she met last summer. I didn't hate her. I wasn't bitter. But I was done viewing my kindness as a flaw. A few days later, she texted, "Want to come over this weekend? Thought we could try that Thai place. Maybe hang out like old times." I looked at the message for a while. The old me would have dropped everything, rearranged my life and gone running. But not this time. I called her voice to voice because she deserved that much. "Hey," I said calmly. "I don't think that's a good idea." "What do you mean?" she asked. "I think we're just in different places now. You're not a bad person, Rachel, but I spent too long trying to be what you needed, and forgot what I needed." There was a long silence. Then she asked, "So that's it?" I took a breath. "I think so. Not out of anger. I just finally understand. I'm done proving my worth to someone who couldn't see it until I took it away." She cried a little. I stayed on the line until she was done. Not because I wanted to fix her pain, but because I wanted to leave her with the same respect I gave from day one, even when she didn't know what to do with it. When I finally hung up, it felt like letting go of a weight I didn't know I'd been carrying. It's been 6 months since then. I've been dating again. Nothing serious yet, but with people who match my energy, who see kindness not as weakness, but as strength, as maturity. I still hold the same values. I still open doors, still listen, still do thoughtful things. But now I do them for people who genuinely appreciate them. Here's the thing. Being too nice was never the problem. The problem was giving that kindness to someone who wasn't ready for it. who thought love had to come with drama or pain to be real. Rachel wasn't evil. She was just lost. And I don't blame her anymore. But I refuse to shrink myself to make others comfortable. I'd rather be alone and respected than loved on conditions. So I'll end with this. Have you ever dimmed your light to make someone else stay? Have you ever been told you're too much of something good and believed it? Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and stick around, because there's more where this came from.